Marianne here from aclearlife.com with the third and final video in my relationship series. So definitely go back and watch part 1 and part 2. That's going to be very helpful. In part 1, I talked about how the problem that people have in relationships is not the problem they think they have. It's their thinking. And I expand on what that means in video 1. And in video 2, I talked about how working on a relationship in the traditional sense doesn't really work, and it's not really valuable, because when you see that you're experiencing your thoughts in the moment and it's not actually him or her, or it's not actually the relationship, you see, well, there's nothing actually to fix. There's nothing that needs to be worked on. It's just your thoughts in the moment that are creating your feelings. And when these thoughts pass, you'll feel something new. And the very nature of thought is that it comes and goes, so there's nothing to do about it. You don't have to work on anything. So I wanted to do video 3 to give a couple examples of what I mean, and also kind of address perhaps someone who might say, okay, so if it's not about the relationship, if it's not about my partner, and I'm not supposed to work on anything, well, what am I supposed to do? So I want to tell you basically the only thing I can tell you about what to do. And that is, I know no more valuable thing, not just in helping with relationships, but with life itself, than to really see for yourself that life works from the inside out. My thoughts in the moment is what's creating my feelings and my experience. That's the single most valuable thing that I can ever point anybody toward. But you have to start seeing that for yourself. Don't take my word for it. You can't take my word for it. It doesn't work that way. Even if you're saying, well, she sounds like she knows what she's talking about, I'm just going to believe her. Not helpful. So what I would say to you is look out in your life and notice that this is what's happening. Notice that when you're thinking upsetting thoughts, you feel upset. And when you're feeling calm, you're having it like you're feeling calm. Or when your thoughts are calm, you're feeling calm. Right? Notice that that's how it works. Notice how there's something outside. There's a thing that never changes. But sometimes you feel one way about it, and sometimes you feel another. And notice how that thing didn't change, but how you feel did. And that's your thought in the moment. So look in this direction. Right? See these things more and more for yourself, and you are going to see for you that there's actually not anything to do. I'll give an example of, I laugh because I've talked to other coaches and colleagues who've had a similar experience, and I just recently had a session with one of my clients, and it was one of these experiences that was very, very beautiful. So I was talking to this woman. She came to me because she was having problems in her relationship, and we'd had a couple of conversations about how her experience, her feelings are coming from the inside out. And she was starting to see that for herself. She was starting to notice that. And on a recent session, she came over and she just had a big fight with her husband. So she was very upset. And I told her, I kind of expanded a little bit on this inside out thing. And I said, well, here's what I do know. That when we're caught up in our own thinking, like when we have really angry thoughts or really upset thoughts, and that's just running through our head, well, we don't have access to our wisest thinking, right? We don't have access to our more compassionate thinking, our more loving thinking. We're just replaying old stale thoughts from the background. And I do know that it's a new thought. When a new thought comes through, you're going to feel differently about this. But a new thought and a new feeling isn't going to come through for as long as you're stuck up in this. So I said, I would just offer to you, don't make this decision when you're angry. Don't make the decision of should I divorce my husband when you're caught up in this thinking. And she said, well, I don't want to divorce him when I'm not angry. I only want to divorce him when I'm angry. And I just kind of let that sit for a minute. And then a light bulb went off for her. She saw, oh, it's not about him. It's about my thinking. And if I can let my angry thinking go, well, then I can see I don't want to divorce him. That was very, very powerful for her. So another example for me personally, So my boyfriend and I have a very beautiful relationship. I love our relationship. I don't know if we've ever had a fight in that sense, but we're human beings, so we have disagreements for sure. And this is what happens every single time without fail. We will be having, a disagreement. We're frustrated with each other. And this is when I really clearly see, I think I mentioned this in video 1, but if I did, it doesn't matter. It bears repeating, that I heard one of my mentors say one time, we don't have relationships with people. We have relationships with our thinking of people. We have relationships with our ideas of people. And I see that really clearly when I'm in a disagreement with my boyfriend, because I'm not hearing him. I'm not talking with him. I'm not having a conversation with him. I'm caught up in my thoughts. I'm rolling around about like, he's not hearing me, and this, he just doesn't understand, and I can't explain it any more clearly, and I don't understand, and anything he has to offer just ricochets off. I'm not listening to him. I'm not hearing him. I'm caught up in here, and and the same thing's happening for him, right? He's caught up in his thinking. Anything I say is ricocheting off, and we're not talking. We're talking, but we're not communicating. Inevitably, what happens is we just move on. Either we just get exhausted and we're just like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Or, we go off and do other things, or we're just like, this is going nowhere. Let's just leave it, right? And every single time, usually pretty quickly, within 5 or 10 minutes, once we part ways, well, then our thinking starts to settle down. It slows down. We're not so worried about keeping it spinning to prove a point, right? We just let it go, and it just naturally settles down. And then we'll come back together. And every single time I'll say, when you were saying, X, Y, Z, I see what you're saying now, and you're right. It would be more helpful if, I did this. And he'll say something similar. Yeah, and you know how you said this? Well, I do agree. I'm seeing, yeah, you're right. And it's not about seeing I'm right or I'm wrong, or he's right or he's wrong. It's just that we have settled down thinking, and now we're communicating. So that's what I have on offer for you if you have struggles in your relationship. Definitely go back and watch video 1, where I talk about it's not about the things that are happening in the relationship. It's not about your partner. It's about your thinking. And then start to see that for yourself. Take that out into the world and see that that's the way it works. And then just see if in your relationship you can notice you're getting caught up. You're in your thinking, or it's your partner's getting caught up in your thinking. It only has to be one of you. Often it's both. But just know, this is thinking. When this thinking passes, this relationship and this situation or this problem or whatever it is, this will look and feel different. And from there, now you can start talking. And by the way, I want to add, I'm not saying all this so that you can now have a good relationship, so that you will stay together or anything like that. Sometimes you will find, when you have access to your wisest thinking, that moving on is actually the best thing for you. You may find when you're not caught up in the thoughts of like, well, I can't leave him because I don't want to be alone, and yada, like we have so much history together and we planned that trip, and I don't when you're not caught up in that and your thinking is settled down, the wisest part of you might actually have to say, you know what? I think we're just done here and it's time to move on. And when you see that, even if you part ways, that is one of the most respectful, amicable, compassionate breakups that you will ever go through. Because you're not caught up in the misunderstanding. It's about him, it's about me, it's about my past, it's about his relationship with his mother, it's about blah, 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 blah. You can just see there's thinking in the moment causing your experience. And when that thinking dies down, you will have clarity, you will have wisdom, you will have compassion, you will have love. And from there, you can make entirely different decisions about what to do or what not to do. So that's what I have to offer. If you found that valuable, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Please share, because I always like getting this word out as much as possible, because I think it's really valuable, not just in relationships, but in life itself. It's really valuable to start seeing that this is the way life works from the inside out. It only ever works from the inside out. So share, comment. If you want more, as always, you can go to my website, clearlife.com. And if you want to work together, either one-on-one, as a couple, or know about some of the programs I offer, do work with me. Visit the Work With Me tab on my website. So that is it for now. I will see you the next time I do a video. Until then, take care.